Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Fetch Quest podcast, where we talk about video games and more. I'm your host for tonight, Brewer, and I'm joined by my fellow host, Connor.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, Connor, what is up, man? How's your day going so far?
Nothing much, been chilling, but I'm just really excited to talk about the new Star Fox today.
Oh yeah, the new remake is out, right? It looks really good.
No, not that one.
Oh, you mean the first one? What a great Super Nintendo game, really advanced for its time.
No, not that one either, bro. You're close though.
Oh, my bad. I didn't know you liked Star Fox Zero, but I guess we can talk about...
No, Brewer, Star Fox 64, the one connected to all these other games.
Dang. My bad, man. So we're talking about the 3DS remake, right?
Bro, I'm gonna kill you, man. I'm gonna turn you into a freaking R-wing mech and shoot you down.
Well, hey, before you kill me, let's talk about Star Fox 64.
True.
Yeah, so today's topic is Star Fox 64, which may be a little confusing to talk about because the game has like 5 different versions, if I'm going to be honest. That'll be another topic later, but we're talking about the game that's released on the Nintendo 64 and has had a great impact, to say the least, with how prevalent it is.
It's like this Star Fox... We'll get into this later, but it truly is just miraculous how they've very rarely experimented with the franchise and have just chosen to remake the same game over and over and over again. It'd be like if for Metroid, every single Metroid game past Super Metroid was just a Super Metroid remake.
Yeah, no, honestly, I see what you mean with that. Yeah, but I guess before we do that, I think we should get into why this game has, I guess, been remade so many times, and I guess just a little synopsis of.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we'll delve into that first bit later, but you go ahead with the synopsis.
Yeah, so Star Fox is a very straightforward and simple game. Story's not gonna be the reason you're playing it, but it's got something there. You are Fox McCloud, and after your father, James McCloud, had some unfortunate stuff happen to him because of a betrayal and whatnot, you command a team Star Fox, a group of mercenaries who is hired by the army to take on the evil Andross. So now you have to go across the galaxy and just combat Andross's forces to eventually just reclaim the peace. And the way you do that is by being a pilot and a very cool ship. You shoot down a crap ton of enemies, you bomb a couple of them, maybe you'll swap to the Landmaster, or a submarine if you want to go into a really dark level. But that's going to be the basic gist of the game. It's really straightforward, it immediately throws you into it, just fun on-the-rails action.
Yep, exactly right. That's basically the best way you can describe it. And I mean, it has its charm. I think one of the best parts of the game is it's like if we're talking like charm are its graphics, because it has that very recognizable like super blocky character models and stuff like that, like Zelda and Mario of the time and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'd say for its time, it was a really, really good looking game because it had a decent amount of polygons, a lot of stuff flying on screen as well, but still ran pretty well.
Yeah, no, exactly. And me and Brewer, well, I can speak for myself. I don't know if Brewer did something, but I played this through the Nintendo Online, and yeah, it was like really fun and really. I was surprised at how well it would control. There were a few times where it was a little janky, but besides that, it controlled very smoothly.
No, I do agree as well. It does control fairly smoothly. I do feel like it is a little odd. One point I will make about the original version is because I've played three different Star Fox games. So I've played the original, I played Star Fox 64, and then also Star Fox 64 3D, which is kind of a remaster slash remake for the 3DS that improved the controls a little bit and updated graphics a smidge, plus a couple of other new things. But one thing I did notice is, at least for 64, it does have those inverted controls to kind of match like what it would feel like flying a ship. So like up is down, down is up to kind of mimic you like pulling back the ship up. But it was a little weird to get used to, especially because there wasn't an option to actually go just straight up or down. But I got used to it after a while, and you know what? I very much enjoyed it because there are a lot of tight maneuvers you have to make through the levels, especially if you want to find like some secret areas, or more so if you just want to avoid damage as well, because you'll have a lot of like obstacles thrown in your way. Like I say, the obstacles are going to be your biggest threat versus like actual enemies,
Yeah.
and you'll have to quickly maneuver your ship. So a lot of times, you'll have to tilt it to fit through like a slim corridor. You have to do the classic barrel roll to avoid some damage from incoming enemy fire. Or if you tilt the wings one way, you can really quickly move over. So I feel like a big highlight of this game is just mastering it, you know?
Yeah, really getting full control of like the R wing and like how it works, and like learning all the super moves and stuff like that, or not super moves, but like the flips and the special inputs and stuff like that you can do in the middle of like the levels and stuff like that. I think truly like mastering it could like be a fun time and stuff like that. Because I will say I've only done like one playthrough of this game. Um and that's because like um this game is very short if you obviously don't like game over or anything, but um there's a bunch of like different stuff you can do. There's a bunch of like alternate routes you can take in order to reach the final goal and stuff like that, and just a bunch of like different things. I know Brewers like really delved into that. um
Yeah, no, especially part of the thing that's so interesting with the level design is, even though, like, again, it is on the rails, so the game is very linear for the most part, it does really try to incentivize you to find like those extra secret routes they have, and then also just like perfect yourself. Like, I feel like the game is kind of short just for the reason of it does kind of expect you to go through data routes, because it does kind of hint and like the most basic ending you'll get, which I very much doubt you'd get the true ending on the first try. I was like, hey, there's somewhere else you need to look to get like the true ending, because there is some really interesting stuff. Like, about the first level you do, if you go through a bunch of rings perfectly while flying, Falco will motion to you to follow him. Then you can go through a
yeah.
waterfall, and then that will lead you to a whole new level. But also it'll lead you to a boss of like the first boss from the original Star Fox, just kind of remade into the Nintendo 64. So I felt like that was
Honestly,
cool.
yeah, no. Well, yeah, I'm agreeing with you. It's very in depth.
Yeah, for short
And
length, there's
something,
just a lot you can do with it, you know?
yeah, exactly. And I think there that's the length allows them to do a lot more with the game than you would see in like Mario or Zelda and stuff like that, because I'm pretty sure this is like one of the this is one of the few N64 games that has like full voice acting and stuff.
I'm not sure about that, but I'd have to fact check it to be honest. But it does have a fair amount of voice acting, that is for sure. Because throughout the different levels,
Yeah.
you'll have quick little messages going in between. You'll have Slippy crying out to you for the 50th time that he needs saving. And then
Yeah,
also you
that
can press on the C buttons to get extra messages, which can sometimes get you extra supplies and items to help during the level.
Yeah, and the reason, like, again, I only did one like playthrough, but the reason I believe it's like at least every interaction I had voice acting and stuff like that through the characters and stuff like that. Um, which I don't think I've obviously there are like voices and stuff like that in some N64 games, but like for example, Ocarina of Time, you don't have like every character speaking or anything like that, you know.
Hmm.
And so
Or like
that
Mario 64, you'll have some of Charles Martinet's voice, but it's not like every character's speaking.
yeah, exactly. And so that's why that's something that really like stuck out to me with this game is that as much as I hated having to hear freaking Slippy crying out for help anytime someone even breathed in his general direction, um, it was like very like cool to see how much voice acting there actually was for the game.
Yeah, I think that's one benefit of it being kind of short in that sense. I feel like they were able to get more into cartridge because a big reason a lot of the games didn't have voice acting back then is just because it would take up so much space on the memory cartridge,
Yeah,
especially for
exactly.
the cartridges they used at the time, because the Nintendo 64 infamously didn't use disc like the PlayStation. Having voice acting would be a very big deal.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Um, and I think something that I think something that also can be like a benefit from its short length is the
The bosses.
yeah, the bosses, because they aren't, at least the ones I fought weren't particularly tough, but I think the bosses definitely do add a good amount of difficulty because if you do game over, you have to restart from the very first planet and stuff like that. And
Well, there
you
is
know
a
that
life
was
system in place.
yeah, sorry. Well, that's why I said game over and not like
Oh, okay,
just
okay.
die. Because if you game over, then yeah, you have to fully restart. But and then that was obviously kind of implemented in order to you know probably increase the length of the game a bit, but also it allows them to like have more difficulty like sparse through it in order to actually test the player and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah, certainly. Because a lot of the bosses are kind of a puzzle in a sense, because most of them you do have to just like shoot a very specific target to kill them. But
Yeah.
it's kind of that process of like figuring
Which
out
part?
how to get to that target, or like sometimes
Yeah,
they'll be blocking
which part
it.
do I shoot first?
Yeah, no,
I
basically.
think one of my favorite examples of that like is the one boss you fight on with the landmaster when you try to save Slippy.
Which Landmaster stage? I'm trying to
The
remember.
one in the desert when Slippy crash lands on it.
Oh, that one. Yeah, okay, I remember that. That was a funky looking boss.
Yeah, it looked crazy, but it was a lot of fun.
It kind of
In my
reminds me of something
opinion,
out of Majora's Mask, you know?
yeah, no, I completely agree. But it's essentially this like giant crab alien like looking thing, and you have to shoot its limbs first, then you have to shoot the like claw that's like kind of like shooting lasers at you, and then you can shoot at its chest and its heart and stuff like that. And it was a really like fun puzzle of trying to figure out how that boss worked and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, definitely. That was the first route that I played. I did also run into that boss, and it was like really unique in that sense.
Yeah, because most of the other like bosses were either like like the first one you ever fight is just shoot it in its back. And so I really like seeing how like even through how short the game was of like that concept evolving into like specific sequences of how you have to shoot the enemy.
Yeah, I think also the way your movement can change as well, because this game was based off, or a lot of its levels, or some of them were based off the Super Nintendo game. This is
Hmm.
kind of just like I think a fully realized version of what it was supposed to be, especially with all the new levels added and whatnot. But one thing that does make it stand out from the Super Nintendo version is what normally when you're going through the level, you're going straight, you're on the rails, very straightforward. But a lot of times when you do get to these boss fights or certain levels, like where you have to fight Starwolf and stuff, you do go into something called like all range mode, to where you're in more of a proper 3D plane. You can go left and right, and then circle back to where you're going. You can do a somersault and whatnot, and then fly back to where you were going. So I do like those
Yeah.
gameplay sections because I don't think they would work for like the large levels, but for the boss fights, they are really fun. Just like trying to avoid the boss and then fly back around them to shoot them before they turn around. You know?
Yeah, no, exactly. Um, and I think, um, well, I also really like the final boss because it also like evolves on that concept really well, in my opinion. Um, but we'll avoid talking about that because, spoilers, which feels crazy to say for a game that's been remade like 5 different times.
Hey, who knows? Maybe for the new Star Fox, or I guess we'll just be calling it Star Fox 2026, like God of War 2018. Maybe they'll change that final boss up.
Yeah, maybe there's a secret final boss this
A
time.
secret one.
True. And then and then when they remake it again in 2045, there will be a secret final boss.
Who knows?
But yeah, no, I think honestly we should probably talk about like its impact and the remakes at this point cuz
Man, I was
there
also
is
gonna
only
say
some.
I was gonna
Oh,
say
you go
also I did
first.
want to highlight the music some,
Oh yeah, the music's great.
because it's not a soundtrack I would listen to all the times, but God, it is really catchy,
Uh
especially the
I was
main
going to say
theme.
I don't know, like that first I think Corneria theme is a banger.
No, that's what I was saying. It's not like one I was gonna listen to all the time, but it's very catchy.
Yeah, no. Um but
Especially
I
we were talking
think
about the bosses. I was gonna say for the bosses as well. A lot of them do have really fun themes. There's a level where you're like kind of literally on the sun, and there's like this big old lava monster you're having to fight. You're having to avoid waves of lava just to shoot it. It feels so imposing the whole time. It's great.
honestly, yeah, no, I agree.
Oh man, but yeah,
Um
I guess we can move on from the point you're talking about since its impact, which also leads to why we see it so often, like we've been mentioning this whole time.
yeah, no, I think it's about time we discuss its impact and stuff like that. Um because to say this game isn't impactful when it's a weird type of impactful where I think it definitely did like, contribute some stuff to the industry, but it's mainly just impactful to like Nintendo and how they've just constantly stuck to Star Fox 64 because the original Star Fox, um as much as I hate to say it, 64 is just the better game because
Yeah,
I mean for one you can actually tell what you're shooting at.
yeah. Well, I have played the Super Nintendo version, and I think it does deserve a little more credit people give it for. It is very hard to approach just because of how it plays, and also its frame rate is kind of terrible in some sections. But it was
Yeah.
really impressive for its time, and it did build that foundation for Star Fox 64.
Yeah.
Though again, it is kind of crazy
um
like we've talked about. We're having the same story like over and over again of, dang, James McLeod is gone and stuff because of that
yep.
stupid pig, and now Fox McCloud has to go fight the evil Andross.
The same 5 songs. The radio plays the same 5 songs.
Yeah, no, essentially that.
But I think a big, and this is just me spitballing. I don't really know, but I feel like a big reason they are constantly remaking just Star Fox and SNES and therefore like Star Fox 64 is because for one it's very short. So you're not having to like put a bunch of time into creating a brand new like thing when you can just readapt the same 3-hour adventure, you know?
Yeah, I do also think there is one aspect I want to focus on for like when Star Fox has been released, and also what type of release it's tried to been for each time. Because I think one thing I would like to focus on is Star Fox, as we mentioned, has usually been a very technically impressive game. Like the first game on Super Nintendo, for all its flaws, it was really impressive to have 3D graphics on that on the Super Nintendo, a 16-bit console. Star Fox
Yeah.
64 is a really good looking game on the Nintendo 64, and while some of the games on that system can look a little rough around the edges, the models from that game still hold up pretty well to this day. And then when you look at Star Fox 64 3D, that was kind of a really impressive showing as well. It's like, oh man, look where we're at now. We're bringing back one of the classics. And then Star Fox Zero, which tried to stay the same story as well, was trying to show the like kind of HD graphics on the Wii U, and also be kind of a showcase for the gamepad. And then lastly, the
Yeah.
newest Star Fox, I think, is supposed to be a big graphic showing, especially because of how they've done new models and whatnot for the Switch 2 to show what the console can do. So I think that's probably the biggest reason I think they've kept doing Star Fox. Like in addition to what you've said, is for one, they do still want the game to sell, and they want to maybe like try to gauge audience interest before they actually make a full
Yeah.
new product by going with the safer option. But also, it works good as a technical showcase, I think, for each of these systems that they've placed it on.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think that's a big reason as well with because like it's like a it's like the opposite, not the opposite, but it's like a sort of spin-off of like a tech demo, but it's like a graphics demo, you know, where it shows off what the current system that it's on looks like at the time and like how impressive they can be. Because I'm not gonna lie, you know, from the trailers and stuff I've seen, and you know, after getting used to the new designs, the graphics look really impressive
Oh
for the
yeah, no,
new Star
they
Fox
do look
game.
really good.
And so, you know, if like they're able to do this much graphical work on Star Fox, you know, what's the next Zelda gonna look like, or what's the next Mario game gonna look like? You know, what's the next Metroid game gonna look like? You know, like all of these like big questions and stuff like that from how good Star Fox looks.
Yeah, certainly, certainly.
Um, but yeah, no, I think I mean, can you? Is there any other reasons you think it's been remade like 6 or 7 different times?
Oh no, 6 or 7. No, but besides that, the only other thing I can say is just it's kind of another video in and of itself. It's just remake culture in
Yeah,
general of just going with a lot of these safer options like Rayman. I really wish would have gotten a new game recently, but they're remaking Rayman Legends and doing Rayman Legends Retold, which looks pretty solid. But like, dude, the original Rayman Legends was already great. I don't see why you
that's
need to
my
do
big
this.
that's my big thing when it comes to like remaster remake culture is that they're doing it for games that don't need it. I mean, everyone pokes fun at Last of Us, but like it's deserved, dude. Last of Us did not need Last of Us 1 didn't need a remaster, and Last of Us 2 definitely didn't need a remaster.
Yeah, it's
Um
just odd because like I feel like it's kind of a similar situation to like when the Game Boy was out,
yeah.
and a lot of times the publishers would want them to like make a new version or like port over and downgrade like a game. So like for this example, like Donkey Kong Country, originally they wanted to bring that to the Game Boy, or like Game Boy Color to be specific. But they started to argue and say, hey, for the same amount of resources, we can just make a new game, and that's what they did with Donkey Kong Land, which I feel like is just far more appealing. Now, very different circumstances there, especially because they were having to downgrade because of technology at the time, and also they did straight up just still put Donkey Kong Country on there, but I feel like it's in the similar vein to what we're seeing, to where we're having a lot of these high budget remakes and whatnot, to stay
Yeah.
with the options and with stuff that will sell over just making new games. Because I will be real, for the new Star Fox, like, it looks great. The demo was pretty fun, but I'm gonna be real, I'm probably gonna wait or just play something else for a while, because I would
Yeah.
have just preferred a new Star Fox game.
Well, it's like it's also the same thing of like, I mean, granted, you have to get the online pass for this, but if it's just going to be a remake of Fox 64, why not just go and play Star Fox 64 or Star Fox SNES? You
Yeah,
know?
I mean, I know it's just, well, SNES and 64 were at least pretty different in my opinion, but yeah, no, in 64's case, like with 3D and now with Zero, my first impressions are like, besides maybe if they add some new levels, is like they are keeping a lot the same. Like, that waterfall trick I mentioned is still going to be there, and I'm guessing
Yeah.
like the mine cart switch with the landmaster stage, that's probably also still going to be there.
I mean, my only thing is that my only like guess of what they would do differently is just like make these secret paths more apparent and stuff like that, or
I will
like
say,
like
one complaint I have with the game that I think would be cool to add in as a new mode is to make it to where, how whenever you do a secret path, like sometimes you have to take like a certain path or like shoot something,
yeah,
but if you miss it, then you have to like go back and redo the other level.
yeah,
Yeah, one thing that did kind of annoy me is it will a lot of times take away one of your ships if you do that. So I feel like it would just be a lot cooler if, like, after you beat the game, there was just a mode to where you could go back to any level to try to get a perfect high score, and also to find all the other levels without having to just do a bunch of other playthroughs. I think that incentivize people to like go through all these stages, because if you don't do some of the other stages in some fashion, there is a lot to miss out on, because the game does change a surprising bit depending on which levels you do. It's not just like Route A and Route B, like one is red and one is blue.
yeah. No, I completely agree, and I don't know. Like again, I don't really know what to expect from the new game. Just like, I mean, hoping that it leads to a new Star Fox game, because that's what I prefer more than like that's what I would prefer more than anything, is just new stuff, you know? Like, I mean, you said it best with like Rayman Legends. Like, I played that game like last year and I was like, wow, this holds up really well for a game that came out like a long time ago. Or not a long time ago, but like, came out a decent while
Set
ago.
semi
This still
semi long
holds,
period, I guess.
yeah, semi long period. And it's like, I would love for us to get a new Rayman game. And it's like, well, no, we're just gonna like remake Legends again. Or not again, we're just gonna remake Legends. And that's sort of the thing with Star Fox. It's like, I feel like they could have had a lot of momentum for a new game, especially with not even spoilers, because they spoiled this themselves, but with him appearing in the Mario Galaxy movie. Like, I feel like there's a lot of momentum for them to have a new game and not just a remake.
Yeah, certainly. But at the same time, I feel like, again, they went with remake as the safer option, just because they're like, hey guys, you can start at the first game, basically.
Yeah,
I
and
don't
it's
know,
like,
man. I don't know.
I don't know. It's just like, could you like? I feel like there's a lot of ideas you could do with like Star Fox as well.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'll hold my breath for this remake, because again, who knows? Maybe they'll add a bunch of cool new stuff
new
and extra
stuff.
extra path, extra levels, crazier boss fights. But for now, like, again, I'm probably gonna wait. As cool as it looks.
Yeah, same here. I don't even. How much is it? I need to
Uh,
look this up.
$60 physical, 50 digital. Though I do know you can get it
Jesus
50
Christ.
physical, because it some places price match the digital prices on like pre-orders.
I mean, that's
Hey, at least it's not as bad
Uh,
as a Fire Emblem, which they
yeah, I was gonna say,
$80.
yeah, I can agree. I just think $50 for a
I don't.
remake, for the fifth remake in a row, little crazy, little crazy.
Yeah, not to say a lot of work wasn't put into it, but
Oh no, I'm not trying to
it's weird.
disparage the work they did, but that's more on like the business side, less of like the actual artistic side.
Yeah, I mean, it's still fair to criticize because, like, I could say in the same vein, like Spyro and Crash, when they got remakes for their first trilogies, it was the entire trilogies, and what wasn't it even just like $40, or even if it was $60, that's like $20 a game, basically. Either
Yeah,
way, way cheaper.
yeah, no,
Nintendo kind of just knows they can get away with this, especially with the Mario movie.
that's also true. Yeah, I think one thing before we like end off here that I would just like to see is like I do hope it succeeds because again I would love a new Star Fox game because I think this is a franchise that they could very much tap into when it comes to just like new ideas and stuff like that. Because I know there was like I think they had like platforming esque games like Star Fox Adventures. I think that was
Yeah,
something.
no, it's not like it's entirely been Star Fox 64. Also on the GameCube was Star Fox Assault. And then there was like Command, I think, for the DS. And then there's the weird, really weird history with Star Fox 2 on the Super Nintendo, which released like decades after it was made.
Yeah, but again, I just think there's a lot you can do with Star Fox as a concept that I would love to see. And yeah, I maybe if Star Fox Switch 2 version does well, it'll get a new game.
Who knows? Or maybe they'll make it
But
again for the Switch 3.
yep, that's probably how it'll go. But if you guys, I think it's about time we wrap up, right?
Yeah, yeah. I guess I'll do some just quick concluding points of Star Fox 64. Besides all the stuff we talked about with the game being like remade in like 5 different ways, kinda. I'd say base Star Fox 64 is still a fantastic game to play. There's a reason they have redone this game so many times or retold it. Because all around, I think you'll just have a solid experience. It controls very fluidly. It looks very impressive. The levels are very well designed. There's always something cool to look at. It's very interesting, and I feel very engaged throughout the level, especially to like look for different paths and whatnot. And as well, a lot of fun boss fights. So if you have an afternoon you want to kill and you want to play a fun on the rail shooters, you can't go wrong with Star Fox. And hopefully, I think that will probably still be the case for the new one as well.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with everything. I guess if I were to throw in my own things, I like Star Fox 64. I think it's really fun. And as much as I like it, don't remake it again after this one, please.
Yeah.
I
Especially
mean,
because we're getting into the realms of like diminishing margins of return with advanced graphics, you know?
yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, that's an entirely different video on itself. So I'm not gonna delve too deep into that. But it is kind of true of like, you can only get so realistic with graphics before over like 90% of your storage space would be used on just those graphics.
Yep, certainly. But yeah, I'd say a
But
non-diminishing return is if you guys maybe liked and subscribed to the Fetch Quest podcast, and also if you commented on this video your thoughts on Star Fox 64. Have you enjoyed it? Which route did you do? And possibly, are you getting the new one? Or what are your opinions on it being remade like a bunch of different times? But with that, we've been the Fetch Quest podcast. Thank you very much for watching this episode. Goodbye, everybody.